Hello guys, let's understand what is the difference between Azure functions and Azure durable functions. When to go for Azure functions, when to go for Azure durable functions. Azure functions, when we have event driven, like when we have some file dropped and entry into the database or HTTP trigger, then you want some logic to execute, then go ahead with the Azure functions. You don't have any complexity or workflow kind of scenarios, then just go ahead with the Azure functions. And we need to go to Azure durable functions when you need to have the control of the state. State means like you need to have the control of that function. So let's assume when you have a scenario where you need to retry in case if it has failed, or in case if you want to pause in between the function, or if you are looking for some human approval. So all these kind of scenarios where you need to pause your function, then you have to go with Azure durable functions. Like in Azure durable functions, we have three different Python functions inside. One is a client function, and the middle one is orchestration function, and the last one is a activity function. So when an event happens, the client function executes, and the client function will trigger the orchestrate function, and the orchestration function will trigger the any number of activity functions. You can define any number of activity functions, whether the activity functions can be sequential or it can be run parallelly, doesn't matter. You can execute it anyways, but all this execution of activity functions happen inside this orchestration function. Orchestration functions acts like a heart of this Azure durable functions. And what's so special about orchestration functions is you can, in case if you want to wait for some time after a step 1, 2, 3 executed, and if you want to wait for some time and then the step 4 should execute, then you can even do that using orchestration function. Or after step 1, 2, 3 is executed, and in case if you are looking for some human approval, and then if you want the next step to execute, then you can do that using Azure durable functions with this orchestration. So whenever an activity function is triggered, the whole orchestration function triggers one more time, but the activity function which got triggered already doesn't trigger again. And how is the state maintained here? Using checkpointing. So Azure durable functions internally stores everything in the Azure storage using checkpointing, so that whenever an Azure durable function fails and when you restart, it starts from where it has stopped before. It doesn't execute which is already executed, because it is checkpointing at every step. These are the difference between Azure functions and Azure durable functions. If you're not clear and if you want to understand it more detailed, then you can just go ahead to the links in my description where I have explained in 2 separate videos on everything about Azure functions and Azure durable functions.